Intel has decided that your motherboard sucks, so does your power supply, you need a new one. Also, Microsoft's decided that PlayStation doesn't get new games no more. No, it's not happening, and you want to inject some chips, kids? Not the eating kind. Let's get into the hot news, everybody. I'm your host, Brett. We're gonna be going over the hottest tech news that I can find on this very here internet. And in case you want to suggest some stories that you want me to cover here on Hot News, you can do so over at our Discord channel. You can join it at the link in the video description. Please post it in the tech news portion of the Discord server. So with that being said, let's jump on into the hot news talking about Intel with their new Alder Lake chips coming out with their ATX 12VO standard. This is something that has actually been in the works for a while. You may remember that Linus Tech Tips has actually covered this years ago at this point, where it's essentially a new connector for your motherboard and your power supply to deliver the same power that your CPU would otherwise use, but in a more efficient manner, with certain tests showing that it can cut idle power usage in half. However, it's about the same once you get up to actually being under consumption. So it slims down the cable, it's a more efficient connection standard, and it's something that Intel decides that they want to implement. A lot of companies have rallied behind this 12VO standard because of the benefits as we're mentioning, but it does feel a little bit like what Nvidia pulled off with their RTX 30 series cards, where they were like, hey, we have a new 12 pin and you better use it on our Founders editions, but we're not going to mandate that anybody else puts it on their cards whatsoever. So it's hard to say whether or not this is actually going to be implemented on all boards going forward, but the indication is that, especially for Z590, that Intel is waiting on motherboard vendors and power supply vendors to be ready in order to roll this out, and it does appear that they are getting to that point where they're going to be able to bring this out to market once Alder Lake launches sometime in what we're expecting to be November of 2021. So you got to replace your power supply if you want the latest Intel chips. It's just how it's going to work. You can see here on the right, the Z590 Pro 12VO is listed in the BIOS right there. This has me questioning whether or not this is going to be rolled out to all motherboards put together, especially since it's designated in the motherboard name. It could be possible, this is speculation at this point, that certain Z590 motherboards have the VO designation because they're going to be transitioning to them, and then some that don't are just going to be for your everyday normal people, and those who want to upgrade to the VOs can do so with the new power supplies if they're overhauling their entire system. But hopefully it doesn't phase out everybody who's already been a part of the normal power supply ecosystem. So we'll have to wait and see how this rollout goes. But are you excited for ATX 12VO? Are you ready to change your whole setup just because you wanted that Alder Lake chip? Let me know down below in the comments. But AMD is ready to change everything that's going on with their fabrication facilities because they've come to a new agreement with Global Foundries. And in case you don't remember, let me catch you up to speed. Global Foundries produced AMD's chips before everything that was going on with Ryzen. Now TSMC is taking those orders. A major reason for this was because Global Foundries decided not to pursue anything really past 14 nanometers, and AMD decided that they needed to scale down in order to stay competitive. This was big news at the time because AMD was exclusively supposed to be making their chips at Global Foundries, but they renegotiated. Now it turns out that they're renegotiating again, where there's no exclusivity on 12 nanometer, 14 nanometer, any parts whatsoever. They can make it wherever they want, but AMD is expecting to buy $1.6 billion worth of wafers from them between 2022 and 2024. So they're not giving up on the relationship entirely. They just realized that they needed to grow up and move on, especially as AMD continues to scale things down. They're likely not going to be making IO dies on the 12 nanometer process anymore, so they're going to need to move on from that. And MSI can't move on from showing off their cards before they're ready. The 3080 Ti and 3070 Ti Supreme models being leaked in a production slide from MSI. You can see that they look very similar to the ones that are already out there, but it confirms that the 3080 Ti has 12 gigabytes of VRAM, the 3070 Ti has 8 gigabytes, and it's just what everybody wanted. Anticipation is that they're going to be announced May 29th, which I feel is like pushing back the date yet again, but there we have it, 3080 Ti, 3070 Ti likely to come out. But Starfield's not likely to come out on PlayStation. In fact, it's been confirmed that it's not going to be. It's going to be an Xbox and PC exclusive. The reason that this matters is Starfield is Bethesda's new IP that is in the works, and ever since Microsoft purchased ZeniMax, who is the company that oversees Bethesda, a lot of people were wondering, are they going to tie it down to their platforms, or are Bethesda games going to be available on PlayStation like they have been for the longest time? And it turns out that no, upcoming with the new IP, Starfield will no longer be on PlayStation. And in case you want to play it, you're going to have to play it on PC, my friends. So suck it. I'm preaching to the choir here. That's not relevant conversation talk. You all know that you have to be on PC. We're on the same page here. And are you on the crypto meme page? Let's talk about the GameStop Bitcoin Dogecoin thing update that I do here. GameStop down 2.78% on Friday. Dogecoin down 0.58% on 24 hours, but just having a rough, wild roller coaster of a week, thanks to a lot of things going on in just the public world. Obviously, Elon Musk appeared on SNL, called it a hustle, which was part of a joke, and then proceeded to say on Twitter this past week that he's going to be working with Dogecoin devs to improve system transaction efficiency, potentially promising. This is coming after he said that Tesla will no longer accept payments of Bitcoin for their cars, which sent that plummeting, which we'll get to in a second. But essentially, the response that I've seen to this is half of them are like, what Dogecoin devs? And then the other half is like, yeah, let's go. Dogecoin to $1. Dogecoin to $1. Let's go. Which side are you on? Let me know down below. Ethereum down 10.3%. Oof, that's hurting a lot. You can see that it's not had a great week. And Bitcoin finally under $1 trillion market cap yet again, down 2% on the day. And you can see that it's absolutely cratered, especially partially because of Elon Musk's comments and just shaking the public confidence in that, but also because the crypto exchange Binance is now facing money laundering probe because of certain activity that's gone on with the exchange. Now, it is being said that not all of the investigation that's going on by the Department of Justice is related to allegations of wrongdoing. They're just going to be looking into things. That's according to the Bloomberg report. They're just trying to see, is there anything shady? Crypto, not having a good time. Let's talk about another thing that Elon Musk influences, space. And now we have a clear indication of what SpaceX is going to be doing with their Starship orbital test flight, with them filing with the FCC. We have a decent idea. We'll leave a link in the video description of how it's going to take off, when it's going to land, all of that good stuff that the Starship is hopping along to do. And China is hopping along to the Martian planet with their Tianwen-1 mission has successfully landed on Mars. They launched this over a year ago and it has finally landed on the Martian surface. Elon Musk congratulating them, saying getting to Mars is hard because that's his whole goal. He wants to die there. And he doesn't want to tell us when the Model S refresh is coming out, but we got a video of it trying to set a lap record in Laguna Seca, and it appears to have a retractable spoiler for anybody who cares about Teslas. But let's talk about self-driving, because that's important here, my friends. Teslas, they crash into things, they explode, people die all of the times. Waymo, the just pristine first child who can do no wrong, never messes up. Just, okay, I don't even know how to explain this article because the autonomous van was confused by safety cones. This guy went on to drive, recorded the whole thing, and essentially once the roadside assistance team got there, it decided to take off, and you can see the guy's just like, what do I do? What's going on? But the car driving itself away. Only Teslas do this, my friends. I bet you this Waymo has been hanging out with a full self-driving vehicle, okay? It's learning some shady tactics from Tesla, okay? Elon Musk is whispering into this Waymo's ear. He's pushing raisins on this gosh dang Waymo, and that's why it went rogue, okay? This doesn't happen unencumbered and uninterrupted just with Waymo being itself, okay, my friends? Only Teslas do that. And Apple's lossless streaming might not only be on Apple. It turns out that there's some indication that it is coming to Android. Apple Music for Android giving us some idea of what the lossless and high lossless resolution of audio is going to be on those platforms, which now we just have to wait for it to actually come out. You want to listen to stuff at 192 kilohertz? High-res lossless Apple Music, my friends. What all the cool kids are doing. All the cool kids signing up for Twitter Blue. It's real, okay? $3 a month to delete tweets after the fact. I can do that, but they're calling it undoing, so somehow that's better. You can't edit them still. Anyway, there's some indication that Twitter's rolling out a pricing subscription for Twitter Blue, which gives you various features. Hopefully, ad blocking or like ad forgiveness where they don't show me ads, because that'd be great, but you can undo tweets and have collections which allow you to organize stuff. I can already delete a tweet. Why would I spend $3 a month on this? Okay, the only thing that this would be worth is ads, but ad blockers kind of work well on Twitter as it is, so I don't know. It's not like YouTube Premium where they sidestep every ad blocker and they're like, hey, quadruple ads before you watch hot news, okay? Which, thank you for everybody who does that. YouTube Premium though, I'm on that train. And are you on the 5G train? Okay, well, Columbia University scientists have discovered a way that they can make it so that you're injected with that. They're showing off an injectable single chip system. They're doing wide out in the open, my friends, okay? They're showing chips that can be put into a hypodermic needle, jammed right up in there, and then they can track you, okay? It's for a lot of good reasons, like monitor medical conditions, see if there's blockages, use an ultrasound, see where the actual chip is, okay? It's not to give you 5G. No, you're not important enough to be injected with 5G, okay? You can't convince me otherwise. But chip as a system being injected into your bloodstream, being researched, my friends. It's not real at this point, okay? It's still being studied, okay? We have to worry about that for the next one, the next pandemic, with the stab in the arm for the get vaccinated, friends. It's the right thing to do. What's also the right thing to do is buy the stuff that AMD doesn't want anymore. You want to buy an AMD 4700S, kids? Check out Friday's episode of Hot News right there. I'll see you tomorrow in the next one. Cheers.